What's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a Magnet Warrior deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this for you guys because this deck is an extremely nostalgic deck based around Yugioh's Magnet Warrior monsters, which is just absolutely amazing. This deck is extremely fun to play, so without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like getting your name description in a single video, getting a signed cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month on your Patreon. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Alpha the Electromagnetic Warrior. This card is a definite 3-of in the deck, and is a great normal summon, because if this card is normal or special summon, you can add a level 8 Magnet Warrior monster from your deck to your hand, which is a really good effect. And your copies of Alpha, Beta, and Gamma all share a common ability that during your opponent's turn, you can tribute this card and then special summon a level 4 Magnet Warrior monster from your deck. And it is a quick effect, which is super good about these cards. We then play 3 copies of Beta the Electromagnetic Warrior. This card is a great 3-of as well, because if this card is normal or special summon, you can add a level 4 or lower Magnet Warrior monster from your deck to your hand, except another copy of this card. We then play 3 copies of Gamma the Electromagnetic Warrior. This card is a really good 3-of as well to go along with your copies of Alpha and Beta, and if this card is normal or special summon, then you can special summon a level 4 or lower Magnet Warrior monster from your hand, except another copy of this card, which is a great effect. I really love these 3 cards that they're based on the original Magnet Warrior monsters that Yugioh played himself, which is just super cool. We then play 3 copies of Delta the Magnet Warrior. This card is a definite 3 in the deck, and one of the best cards in the entire build, because it has the ability that if this card is normal or special summon, you can send a level 4 lower Magnet Warrior monster from your deck to the graveyard. And if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can banish 3 level 4 lower Magnet Warrior monsters from your graveyard, except another copy of this card, to be able to special summon out Valkyrian the Magnet Warrior from your hand or deck, ignoring its summoning conditions, which is just such a cool effect that you can actually summon out Valkyrian in this deck. I love that about this card. We then play 3 copies of Epsilon the Magnet Warrior. This card is also a really good 3-of in the deck, and has the ability, if this card is normal or special summon, you can send a level 4 or lower Magnet Warrior monster from your deck to the graveyard, except another copy of this card, and then this card's name becomes a sent monster's name until the end of the turn. Then you can special summon a Magnet Warrior monster or a Magnet Warrior monster from your graveyard with a different name than the cards that you control, which is a pretty good effect to be able to use to get you an additional monster on your side of the field. We then play 2 copies of Berserkion. Berserkion is great in this deck as a 2-of, and is actually a retrain of Valkyrian, which is just really nice. This card is easy to summon to your side of the field because it cannot be normal summoned or set. It must first be special from your hand by banishing Alpha, Beta, and Gamma from your hand, graveyard, or face up from your monster tones, which is super easy to do in this deck because they actually search one another, which is really cool. It also has the ability that you can basically use the ability to banish a level 4 lower Magnet Warrior monster from your graveyard, and then target 1 card your opponent controls and destroy it, which is a great effect. And if this card is destroyed by battle, or it is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card effect, then you can target 1 each of the Alpha, Beta, and Gamma and special summon them back to your side of the field, which is great because this card does replace itself. We then play 2 copies of Valkyrian the Magnet Warrior. This card is such an awesome old school boss monster, as you can summon off your copy of Delta, but you can also use this card to fusion summon with Berserkion into your copy of Imperium Magnum, the superconductive battle bot, which is super cool that you can just use these 2 to be able to make a crazy powerful boss monster, which is why I play 2 copies of Valkyrian in this deck. We then play 3 copies of Adamantipator Researcher. Researcher is one of the best Adamantipator cards in the game, and has a great effect that if you control a rock monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, and then during your main phase, you can activate the top 5 cards of your deck, and if you do, you can special summon 1 of your activated level 4 or lower non-tuner rock monsters to your side of the field, which is a great effect to be able to use with any of your Magnet Warrior monsters, especially if you get one of your level 3 Magnet Warrior monsters, because then you can synchro summon into Naturia Beast, which is really cool. But the entire top row are all rock monsters, so they're all targets for your copy of Researcher, which is is really good. We then play a single copy of Sentry Soldier of Stone, which is really cool to be able to work your copy Soldier of Stone into this deck. I love that about this card. It's just so cool to be able to just get the Soldier of Stone in this deck. It's just really amazing, but it has the ability that if all monsters you control are rock type monsters, minimum 1, while this card's in the graveyard, you can actually special summon this card back to your side of the field. It is a once per turn, but it is a once per turn effect. So you can use it every single turn. That's so cool about this card, and it's just really an awesome one-of in this build. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom just to stop your opponent from touching the deck. It's a really good 3-of in this build just to stop your opponent from touching the deck. And then we play 2 copies of Nibiru. Nibiru is searchable off of Gallant Granite, which is why we just play 2 copies of this card in the build. And it's really good as a 2-of to just stop your opponent from making an insane board. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start off with a single copy of Monster Reborn. Monster Reborn is a definite one-of in this build to be able to get one of your monsters back out of the graveyard onto the field. We then play a single copy of Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial is great to get the exact Magnet Warrior you need in the graveyard when you need it. We then play a single copy of Magnetic Field. I have bumped this card down to 1 from previous builds. I feel like it's totally fine as a one-of in this particular build, but it's a really good field spell. We then play 2 copies of Polymerization. Polymerization is a definite 2-of in this build, so you can summon out your copy of Imperium Magnum, the superconductive battle bot, by using Berserkion and Valkyrion to be able to make it. This card is really good as a 2-of in the build. We then play 2 copies of Adamancipator Signs, which is basically 2 additional copies of Monster Reborn. So let you target a rock monster in your graveyard and special summon it in defense position. Then, if you special summon an Adamancipator monster with this effect, you can take a level 4 lower rock monster from your deck and place it on top of your deck, which is a really good effect. We then play 3 copies of Magnet Induction. Magnet Induction is insane as a 3-of deck. If you control a Magnet Warrior monster whose original level is 4 or lower, you can special summon a level 4 lower Magnet Warrior monster from your deck with a different name than the cards that you control. Also, for the rest of the turn, after this effect resolves, Magnet Warrior monsters and Magnet Warrior monsters that you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects, which is a crazy powerful effect. This card is basically E-Telly for the deck, and it's just really good to be able to play this card as a 3-of, because you always want to see this card because it's going to get you an additional monster onto your side of the field. So, that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're just going to be playing 3, and that's going to be 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Infinite Impermanence is just really good to back up our other hand traps that we're playing in this deck, like Nibiru and Ash Blossom. And this card is great to be able to stop your opponent's monster effects, but also lock down entire columns for spells and traps, which is just really good. This card is great as a 3-of in the build. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to start off with a single copy of Imperium Magnum, the Superconductive Battle Bot. This card is insanely powerful in the deck, and it requires a Valkyrion and a Berserkion to actually make this card, and it must be fusion summoned with the above fusion materials and cannot be special summoned by other ways. And once per turn, during either player's turn, when your opponent activates a spell or trap card or monster effect, you can negate the activation if you do destroy that card. And if this card in its owner's control leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect, you can special summon both a Valkyrion and a Berserkion from your hand and or graveyard, ignoring their summoning conditions, which is really good that it actually replaces itself and puts back your copy of your Valkyrion and Berserkion onto your side of the field. We then play a single copy of Adamancipator Risen Raptite. This card is just a great card to be able to synchro summon into. It's great as a 1-of in the deck because it does let you excavate cards from your deck to be able to reveal a rock monster and special summon it, which is really good, just like your copy of Researcher. 1 copy of Naturia Barkion, which is just great to be able to negate trap cards, and it's super easy to make in this build. 1 copy of Naturia Beast. Naturia Beast is also great as a 1-of in the build to be able to negate spell effects. It's really good in this particular deck. We then play a single copy of Gallant Granite. Gallant Granite can search rock monsters, which is why we're playing this card as a 1-of in the deck. 1 copy of Baguska just to lock down the opponent. This card is great in this deck. 1 copy of Gorgonic Guardian. This card is one of the best level 3 or rank 3s that we can actually make in this build. I love this card in the deck, and it's just really powerful because it can drop your opponent's monster down to 0, which is really good about this card, and it's a really powerful card in this deck because it also negates the effect of that monster as well, which is just absolutely crazy. We then play a single copy of Fortune Tune. Fortune Tune is great as a 1 in the deck to be able to make your copy of Zeus extremely easily in this deck. We then play a single copy of Downer Magician. Downer Magician, so Zeus has an additional material. 1 copy of Double A Zeus, because Double A Zeus is very easy to make in this deck and is a really good boss monster to be able to summon to your side of the field to just board wipe your opponent. 1 copy of Access Code. Access Code's great because it's easy to make in this build because it's so easy to put multiple monsters on the field in this deck, and it's a great boss monster to be able to make in just about any deck. 1 copy of Appaloosa, because being able to get multiple monster negates is great in this deck. 1 copy of Nightmare Unicorn to spin stuff. 1 copy of Nightmare Phoenix to pop spells and traps, and then finally a single copy of IP Masquerena to be able to make your copy of Nightmare Unicorn during the opponent's turn to be able to spin cards, or make your copy of Appaloosa during the opponent's turn to give you multiple monster negates, which is really nice. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played Magnet Warrior monsters before, you should definitely give this deck a try. I love that it's based on the original Magnet Warrior monsters. Unfortunately, they're not super good in this deck, which is a little bit of a downside, but it's still really cool that you can actually summon Valkyrian off of Delta's effect. I love that about this card. So, anyways, guys, that's it for this one. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.